field, what's the momentum of that ball when it leaves the quarterback's hands. There's a mathematical way of thinking about that.
Yeah.
That's not intuitive to everybody. You're going to say something?
Probably. No. First of all, if you knew more physicists, you wouldn't be in awe. I know so many stupid physicists that it's nothing. It's you do it because it's fun, and that's the only reason to do anything. It's challenging. It excites you. It's fun. But my God, you wouldn't believe the people I run into with PhDs in physics. I wouldn't trust them to balance my checkbook or tie my shoes or anything.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. Please like, share, and subscribe, especially if you are new to the channel. Well, as you all can see, I am not in the confines of my home, my condominium unit. I am at the National Portrait Gallery courtyard. I just finished interviewing Dr. Lee Phillips, a fellow scientist and writer with a background in physics. So we talked about numerous things, and I will probably end up creating multiple parts, multiple installments of our interview on this channel, so look out for that. For this installment, this will at least be the introduction, so look out for other parts of the interview subsequently. Yeah, let me know if you have any questions or comments afterwards in the comment section. We talked about a lot of things. If you want to donate something to the channel, my Cash App and PayPal are below in the description box. And also, please consider joining the Big Words LLC Newsletter. And yeah, with that, I'm going to wrap this up. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Bye-bye. All right, everyone, welcome back to Big Discussions 76, Science and Technology. As you can see, I am on location. Normally, I've been doing my interviews via live stream, but my guest, before I say that, science is about flexibility of mind, and my guest recommended, hey, why don't we go out and do it somewhere as opposed to just sitting behind a computer screen. And I think that'll be more fun for the audience. And yeah, it turned out to be an excellent idea. I've been in this location before. We're at the National Gallery.
National Portrait Gallery.
The National Portrait Gallery. I've been here before at nighttime with the DJ and flashing lights and stuff, but I've never been here during the daytime. So thanks to Lee's suggestion, I know that this is here, and I'm here during the day. So everybody, I have with me Dr. Lee Phillips, a scientist and a writer, and a former collaborator of mine at the Arlington Planetarium. Hi to everyone in the Friends of the David M. Brown Arlington Planetarium. We're going to talk a little bit about that at some point, but I wanted to interview Lee about his science career and his science writing, and he's someone I highly respect, and I thought it would be fun for us to huddle up and talk about science and writing and all kinds of things, astronomy. So welcome, Lee.
Oh, thank you. And it's really great to see you after so long. Finally see you in person again after at least 10 years.
Okay, so right now you're in South America?
I live mostly in Honduras,
Central America. Okay, I got to get my geography.
Which are, by the way, North American terms, because outside of the United States, it's just America. America refers to the entire landmass of North, Central, and South America. It's only in the United States that they divide it up into 3 sections.
Oh.
And even that is fairly recent. Actually, 100 years ago, we also, in the U.S., called it America.
Okay, I didn't know that.
For political reasons, we started making distinctions.
Well, that sounds very similar to, we call soccer in other parts of the world. It's football. Of course, we have American football, so... Yeah, and what are we on the metric system, and everyone else is on the I can't think of
The
it.
reverse.
The reverse.
We're on
right.
the imperial system.
The imperial system.
And the imperialists are no longer on the imperial system.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Well, yeah. So this is fun. This is great. I'm used to talking by myself and occasionally with guests. So it's great to have someone here to talk science with. So Lee, before we jump in, it's good to do research on your guests, and I did do some research on you when looking up your books.
Not too deeply.
Not too deeply, but I see that you're a cigar guy. Do you have a favorite brand?
First of all, I think that picture, the author's picture on Amazon, I think that cigar's not lit, so it's kind of a prop. Because I just decided to grab it and see what it looked like. I don't smoke often enough to have favorite brands. I might smoke 1 or 2 cigars a month at most. But generally speaking, of course, Cubans. Nothing compared to Cuban cigars.
Okay.
But they're incredibly expensive.
Okay.
But actually, I'm fortunate that where I live, Honduras, I think makes the second best cigars in the world.
Wow.
After Cuba. Honduran cigars are amazing. They're really good, but I haven't really developed detailed preferences. I just don't smoke every now and then. So I brought some, I'm visiting my brother-in-law in Arizona tomorrow. And he's a big cigar fan, so I brought him an assortment of Honduran cigars. And one of the cigars that I won't mention, because it's still illegal to import Cuban cigars into the United States. Believe it or not. It's legal for when you're overseas to buy them and smoke them. Maybe not in Cuba, but in other countries. But we still have this. Even though we've relaxed some trade with Cuba,
Yes.
you still cannot have a cigar.
Yes.
Still cannot bring a cigar back.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm still a newbie. I do go and smoke them every once in a while, but not enough to be an expert. So I usually pull a Monte Cristo or a Macanudo or a Cohiba. Yeah, those are the ones I usually go for.
But you can't get Cohibas here legally.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. So for the
unless they make them in other countries also. I just think of it as a Cuban brand.
Okay. Well, so for those cigar lounges that I frequent.
Oh no! If it's in a cigar lounge,
that's off the record.
No, they probably have a branch in another country.
Okay. Okay.
I tell you, when I went preparing for this trip to buy gifts for my brother-in-law, I went to a cigar store where I live, the capital of Honduras, Tegucigalpa, and I said, "Show me your Cuban." So they had one shelf of Cuban cigars, which is legal there, and there were open boxes of cigars, and there was a price in dollars, which is never a good sign. You see a price in dollars in a country where they don't use dollars.
Right.
But it was pretty much the only good cigar store around. So down at the bottom, I saw $10, $20. And then at the top, there was an open box, and it said $330. So I asked the guy, so these up here are priced by the box? And he said, no, that's the price per cigar. So it blew my mind that people spend $300 on a cigar.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't buy one of those.
All right. Well, let's jump in here. So, Lee, I met you here in the Washington, D.C. area at the David M. Brown Arlington Planetarium. Hi to the friends, everybody.
I assume they're watching.
You know, I'm certain somebody will watch. Where are you from originally? You from this area?
I'm from New York City.
Wow. Okay.
I grew up on the Lower East Side in a housing project, which was right on the border of Chinatown, 2 blocks up from the harbor, from the river, and 1 block east from Chinatown.
Okay.
The Manhattan Bridge was right outside my window. So I'm used to hearing the subway all 24 hours a day rumbling by. So yeah, I watched the Twin Towers go up outside my window.
Wow.
It was a big deal when I was a kid.
Yes.
Everyone wanted to visit it when it opened.
I imagine
it was
so.
Exciting. So when that tragedy happened, I wasn't there. I can't compare my experience to people who actually were living there, but it was very sad. Those things didn't exist anymore.
Yes.
But yeah, so I lived there in that housing project until I went away to college when I was 16.
Okay. All right. Yeah, my father's from New York City as well, from that borough, and he's a retired science educator. So, Yep. All right. Must be something in the water in the Hudson or the East River.
Where did he teach?
In the capital region, the Albany, Schenectady area.
Oh, New York State.
Yeah. He went to SUNY Albany and yeah, pretty much stayed there.
So I went to elementary school across the street from my building. And then for junior, what we call in New York junior high school. Most of the rest of the country calls it middle school. But for junior high school, I took there are no school buses in New York. People take the city buses. So I took the city bus up to 2 miles up to 20th Street. And then after that, I went to Stuyvesant High School, which was, at the time it was on 15th Street. So the same bus, but not quite as far. Now it's in the Battery. They moved the high school. But this is an historic high school from at least the 19th century in New York City. And it's basically a science and math high school. New York has a system of, they take some public high schools, they're part of the public school system, but you have to take an examination to enter. So they're designed to cater to people with interest in science or math who are willing to study a little harder than your neighborhood school would demand of you. It was a decent experience. What I most enjoyed about Stuyvesant was my English teacher was Frank McCourt, the guy who wrote Angela's Ashes.
Oh, okay.
So that was the last school he taught in before he retired.
Okay. Now, what got you interested in science? Were you naturally interested in it, or was there a teacher who lit that flame?
Whatever happened, it happened when I was so young that I don't really remember. I always assumed that I would be some kind of scientist. And I don't know where the idea came from. But it was just, I never really seriously thought of being anything else. And eventually, I mean, little kids don't know really what a physicist is. They just have an idea of what a scientist is. And that was my idea. I have to be a scientist. And then eventually that became physicist. But I never really seriously considered, aside from doing writing, I never really considered any other occupation seriously.
Okay. Now, was there any particular set of courses that you gravitated towards as a youth? Was it the math? Was it physics? Was it chemistry? Was it calculus? Anything?
I was fortunate that I took calculus in high school. Stuyvesant offered that. And that was the second math class. I really actually didn't like math classes that much. Algebra, solving quadratic equations, that always was drudgery for me. And I wasn't that great at it. It was okay. But then I remember in 10th grade, my geometry class, where you learn how to prove things. And that to me was a whole different level, intellectually challenging. You know, prove the Pythagorean theorem, prove that the angles of a triangle add up to two right angles. And you have to think about everything you know and how to put these pieces of knowledge together to arrive at a proof or result that you know is true ahead of time, so it's not creative math. And that to me was a lot of fun. And then there was some more years of drudgery. And then there was, in my last year of high school, a calculus class. And suddenly math became fun again, because calculus is a whole different kind of mathematics. You're dealing with infinity all the time. And you can forget most of what you had to deal with. You don't have to factor polynomials anymore, do this boring stuff, and you can think about a whole new kind of math. Which, it was interesting that my friends who were doing better than me in their regular math courses in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, pre-calculus, some of them were struggling when they got to the calculus class, but I was the opposite. I was kind of not doing that well in the algebra classes, but when it came to calculus, I found it really easy, because you could start fresh with a fresh set of concepts. And it was just more fun.
Okay. So everyone, for context, many consider physics to be the grandfather of the other sciences. So things kind of chemistry, biology, astronomy. I mean, everything kind of branches out from physics. So physics, if I sound like I'm in awe of Lee's training and physicists in general, that's why I didn't understand that when I was starting my own science education. I was good at memorizing concepts in biology. But physics, I didn't understand physics right away. And credit to my father, one of the things he said, and I didn't understand this right away, is that it's a different way of looking at the world. Looking at it theoretically and mathematically. How much force does it take to throw that football, the entire length of the field? What's the momentum of that ball when it leaves the quarterback's hands? There's a mathematical way of thinking about that. Yeah. That's not intuitive to everybody. You going to say something?
Probably. No. First of all, if you knew more physicists, you wouldn't be in awe. I know so many stupid physicists that it's nothing. It's you do it because it's fun, and that's the only reason to do anything. It's challenging. It excites you. It's fun. But my God, I mean, you wouldn't believe the people I run into with PhDs in physics who I wouldn't trust them to balance my checkbook or tie my shoes or anything. So. Which is funny because if you're at a party or something and someone asks what you do and you admit that you're a physicist, oh, you must be so smart. You don't know these people.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, there's really people much smarter than I am who are in physics. Physics is a vast area. It's even the word physics, it's hard to generalize about it because it's such a vast sphere of knowledge that it used to be up to World War II probably, where a physicist could read Physical Review, the top journal in the U.S., and read it all, understand all the articles in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone had basically the same education, and everyone knew. And now you can't do that. First of all, there's no time. There are hundreds of journals and thousands of articles, and their specialization is so intense that you can understand things in your own subspecialty. I can understand articles in fluid dynamics and a few other fields. But if I try to read an article in experimental particle physics, I don't know what they're talking about. Really.
Right.
So it's specialization. That's probably the same thing in biology and chemistry and so on. Everything has become so. There's so much science and so many scientists, and it's become such a big part of society that you're lucky if you can keep up with your particular niche.
Right. Now this is off the cuff, but thank you for watching this discussion. It will be continued in subsequent installments. Please leave any questions or comments in the comments section below. And finally, please like, share, and subscribe, especially if you are new.